family, welcome back to Cassandra's Kitchen, where I eat to live and not live to eat. Today I'm going to be making one of America's favorite Thanksgiving dishes, which is green bean casserole. So if you're interested in seeing how I make my casserole, stay tuned and I'll show you. Alright guys, so what you're going to need for our green bean casserole, we're going to need some onions. I'm using a Vidalia sweet onion. I got half of a medium pretty much diced up here. I have some baby bellas that I've already pretty much chopped up. I chopped up about 6, I think, of the baby bellas. We're going to need some green beans, of course. So I'm using frozen green beans, the whole green beans. They're frozen. I'm just going to rinse them off. I have 2 bags, so I've rinsed one bag off. I'm going to rinse this one off, but you just want some green beans. And again, I'm using the whole frozen. You can use whatever green beans you prefer. I'm going to top mine with some fried crispy onions from Frenchers, or French's. I'm going to top them with that. But what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead to start this dish. We're going to go over to the stove. We're going to saute down some of our onions and mushrooms, and then we'll start making our cream sauce. Pour it over top of our mushrooms, get it in the oven, top it, bam. Quick, easy, simple. So come on over to the stove. I'll show you guys what I'm going to do next. All right, so I'm using a little plant butter. Got it into my hot skillet here. Got quite a bit in there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get in my onions. If I can do this without making a mess. Get my onions and my mushrooms in here. Okay. And then I'm just going to season this slightly with some smoked paprika. With a little bit of granulated garlic. Love my granulated garlic. Some black pepper. I got a lot of green beans, so I'm putting quite a bit of that in there. And we're going to just let this kind of saute down a little bit. We don't want to overcook it. We're just going to give it a nice little, maybe couple of minutes in here. And then we're going to work on our cream sauce. Now, the cream sauce you can do a couple ways. You can keep the mushrooms and onions in here. But what I'm going to do, just because I want a nice, smooth, creamy consistency of my sauce, I'm going to just, after I saute these down slightly, I'm going to just move these to the side in a bowl, come back to my skillet, do my cream sauce, and I'm going to pour this right back in there because I want to make sure I don't have any lumps in my cream sauce. When I make like a roux, pretty much using my flour, so that's why. But you can do it all together, but sometimes it just takes a little more work to make sure it's the creaminess and there's no lumps in it when you got your vegetables already in there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take it out and move it to the side. But like I said, you don't have to do that. But we're just going to let this cook for maybe 3 to 5 minutes till it just cooks down. We don't want to overcook it because, again, it's going to go into our casserole, which is going to have to bake in the oven as well. So we're just going to let this kind of marinate together with these seasonings in here. You notice I didn't put any sodium in here. And the reason why, because when we make our roux, I'm going to be using our garlic base Better Than Bouillon. This is the vegan version. They do have some, so be careful when you buy the Better Than Bouillon. They have the premium beef and chicken base, but then they also have the vegan no chicken base, which can be a little confusing, but you always have the vegan symbol on it if you know you have the vegan one. They didn't have the chicken. I do, of course, like the garlic base. It's really light. It's good. So we're going to be using this along with to make our roux. So that's why I didn't put sodium in here. So we're just going to let this cook for a couple of seconds. couple more seconds here. We're just going to move this out of the way. Let me actually grab a bowl to put this in. Thank you. Okay. Just going to get this kind of translucent, these onions just a little translucent. And another thing I'm going to be using, which you're going to be like, you put onions in there. Yes, I did, but I like the dehydrated onions as well. It kind of brings a different texture and taste to any dish. I don't know, onions are onions, yes, but you would have to actually put them in your dish to know what I'm talking about. So I'm actually going to add a little bit of this into our green bean casserole as well. So just FYI, if you're asking, well, why are you putting more onions in there? Because I like onions, but those take a different kick. So I'm going to go ahead and down and remove these. Got that cooked down in there really nicely. It's not necessary to clean out your pot unless you want to. But we want to get a little bit more butter down in here. And what I'm going to use for my sauce, I'm going to be using milk. And I'm using spelt flour. Have my all white spelt. You can get the regular spelt, but I like the white spelt. Just clean this off a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and get some of this broth, probably about a tablespoon of that going down in there with my butter. If we need more, we can always add a little bit more later on in the dish. Okay. I just want to get this to heat back up slightly before I start putting in my flour and milk. Okay. Just going to put just a tad bit of milk down in here just so I don't burn my seasoning that I got in there. Just a little bit for now. Keep everything smooth out. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to put in our spelt flour. And I have just a little little strainer thing. I just like to do it like this so it'll go smooth and not have any lumps in there. It's not necessary that you do that. But this is what I'm going to do. Just to make sure it's kind of smoothed out. Give it a little twirl. Kind of work it as you go. Get some more of this milk down in here to keep it nice and smooth. And anytime you're making a roux, it just takes some time. Just to make sure you smooth it out. So you only got two hands. You got to put the flour in. You got to whisk. You got to add more flour. So and you want to make sure your temperature's up high. So I'm going to get some more flour in here in a second, but I want to make sure that we get this part smoothed out before we continue, because we don't want it to be clumpy. And then as it gets down, you can always use a fork to kind of press it down if you need to. So we're going to go ahead and get a little bit more of our flour in here. We're making quite a bit of our cream sauce. You see how that makes it just go in a little bit smoother and not clumpy. And the trick with making this, you want to make sure that your skillet is good and hot. Get a little bit more milk down in here. And I'm using almond milk, of course. See how it's thickening up? So the trick to this, how thick do you want it? How thin do you want it? You want it thick? You add more flour. You want it a little thinner? You add less flour and more milk. But We want this to be like a soup almost consistency. Because, you know, normally they use cream of mushroom soup, the can of soup. So we're just making our own. Okay. Get the rest of this sauce down in this broth off of my spoon down in here. Like I said, you want to go kind of slow with this so you see where the consistency is. You may have to add just a little bit more flour. Okay, which is right here. Get that in here. Okay. Like I said, this step isn't necessary, but I just don't want it to be just poured in there and be clumped up. So get a little bit more milk. Okay. Just take your time with it. Get it mixed in there really, really good. Let me grab a rag really quick. I do make a mess as I go, but I also like to wipe as I go. So I don't like to have a lot of mess under me. Okay. So this is just going to take a little bit. We're going to keep stirring this. What I do want to do, I want to taste it to make sure it has enough of the broth in it. It does for me. It's got good flavor. If you think you need more, of course, you season to your own likings. And I'm using the unsweet almond milk, so you don't want anything sweet in there. You want the unsweet almond milk. I'm just going to keep working this in. And once we get it to where we want, we'll put those dehydrated onions in here. And we'll add in a little bit more black pepper. Okay. Swipe back here. And see how this, we've taken our time. So if we would have left the mushrooms and onions in there, it would have just been in the way, and it would have allowed it to possibly clump up together, and that's what we don't want. What I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and get some more black pepper in here. And like I said, you always want to season to your likings. I'm just giving you the base of what I do, but you can season it to your own likings. Because everybody's palate and taste preference is different. Okay, you see how nice and thick this is? Maybe can't see it too much right there, but it's got a nice creamy. We're almost ready to put in our vegetables back in here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of the dehydrated onions. Like I said, it's going to bring a different taste in there. And now with my onions in here, it makes it look like it's clumpy. So that's why I say you do all that last, so you know your base is smooth. Those are onions. Those will soften up as it cooks in here. And then what we're going to do now, we're going to add back in our mushrooms and onions. Okay. Look at that. And we're going to get this into our green bean dish with our green beans. Mix it all together. Like I said, make sure you got flavor, guys. Taste this one more time. It is so good. So that is going to be turned off now. And what we're going to do now, we're going to go back over here. And I'm going to bring over my green beans. So we'll get that set up here over the stove. But I'll be right back over. Okay, so I have rinsed off my green beans. I actually used just a bag and a half of mine because I didn't want to put too many in my dish because I don't want it to overflow because I got all this now cream of mushroom soup to get in here. So let's get that out of here. So next thing, we're just going to get this poured in here. Let me do a little bit at a time. Green beans are frozen, so mixed in here real good. Might have made it a little bit more than I needed, but I like creamy goodness. I can add a little bit more green beans in here too. I think I can probably get a little bit more down in here. Oh yeah, this is going to be so good. With some mashed potatoes or some garlic potatoes. And garlic and butter potatoes. Maybe some of my beef and chicken on the side. I don't know. Okay. I think I can get just a few more green beans in here on the top. I just want to use some more of this base. One moment. All right. So I got a few more of my green beans washed off here. And we're going to put a little bit more of the cream sauce in here. I think we can get it all in this time. And another thing, if you don't have milk or you don't like almond milk, you can definitely use water for this. Y'all know back in the day, our mamas used to use water to make gravy. Flour and water. So you can definitely use that, but and mine is really, really creamy, and that's what I want. You don't want that much cream in yours. Definitely don't put that much cream in yours. You can make it as how you like it, but this is how I want to make mine really creamy. So a little green beans with my cream sauce, right? So next thing, this is good. So I'm just going to kind of clean off my section here. And then we're going to put in on top of here our crispy onions. Just top it off. Y'all, this is Thanksgiving, right? So why not? We want to make it, this is going to be a nice Thanksgiving dish. Well, for me, it's going to be a today dish, but you can make it real nice and healthy and hearty. That's what people look forward to on Thanksgiving, the nice hearty dishes that they don't get throughout the year. But this is how you do your Greenbean casserole. So next, what we're going to do, I have my oven set to 350. I'm going to put this in here for about 20 minutes. Everything's already done. Pretty much, we just want it to kind of just simmer and set together. So I'm going to get this into my oven. middle. And we're gonna let that cook. And I'll be back to show you guys what it looks like and what it tastes like. All right, so guys, it's out. It cooked for 20 minutes. I've let it set for about 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. So let's look down in here. I want to give you guys just a little close up of it here. Let's get down in here. Look at that. Green bean casserole. Looks delicious. This is what we have, guys. Okay. So now we're just going to go over here and let you guys see what it tastes like. All right, so Mr. Coleman.
Yes.
Can I have your assistance in the kitchen, please?
Yes, you may. My favorite time.
Come on over here, sir.
All right.
So this is our
green bean casserole.
Thank you. Green bean casserole. I got just brain fog. Green bean casserole. It's cooled off this time. I ain't gonna have you scorch your tongue like you did on the quiche.
Yeah, it's kind of hot that way.
So I made sure it was warm, and so it's been in the oven, like I said, for 20 minutes, and then I let it rest for about 20 minutes. So it's not that hot. So we're gonna see what it tastes like without using canned soup, because you can't find vegan. Well, they probably have it somewhere, but I can't find no vegan cream of mushroom. So I like making everything myself anyway. So practice makes perfect.
She did a good job.
When you know it is good, you hear that and he don't let up. That's 3 bites. And behind it, that's a good sign.
Well, I'm going to tell y'all something. The flavor and everything is there. The fresh green beans, man, they are so delicious because they're fresh. And those onion crisps or whatever that's on there, good God Almighty. Y'all just set it off. I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed on this. It's really good. The flavor, everything, it's really good.
So with perfect balance of seasonings.
It's really good. The season, everything in there is really good.
Let me try. So they're not fresh green beans, they're frozen, but they're more close to fresh than canned stuff.
Canned, right.
Yeah. I don't use a lot of canned goods at all.
No, we
The
don't.
we don't. The only time I use canned goods around the holidays is when I make the
corn pudding.
Corn pudding.
Yeah.
Has a cream of corn, but that's it. Let's see.
Pretty good, huh? Yeah.
Good. I think it's gonna be delicious. Well, it is delicious.
Ain't no thinking to it. It is. It's really good.
So you going back in again?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back in one more time.
Okay, you can go back in. So I made some garlic potatoes. I didn't mash them. I diced them up and let them boil. They get tender. Then I put them in some butter with some Mrs. Dash, the garlic and herb, a little dash of salt, a little dash of garlic, and I just seasoned them like that, and then kind of toss the cubes in there. So we're gonna have them like cubed, not mashed, with some green bean casserole. I'm gonna do the daring lemon herb chicken, vegan chicken, but mine, they taste really, really good. What you doing with yours?
They're really good. The lemon herb chicken, they're really good.
And what you doing with yours?
What you mean what I'm doing with mine? I ain't doing, what do you mean?
What you eating with your green bean casserole and potatoes?
Chicken.
What chicken?
Real chicken.
He made him some barbecue chicken on the grill. He ain't ashamed.
Right.
He still eats his chicken occasionally, but I'm gonna do the little daring chickens. They taste so good. I don't know if you guys have had them. Let me show y'all.
I'm getting there.
These right here, I'm gonna do the lemon herb this time, but they're by Daring. Lemon herb, yes, they have soy, but it's non-GMO. But guys, this is really, really good. It's got
tastes like chicken. It really does.
It's got the texture of chicken.
Yes.
He likes them, like he does, and so so that's what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna make this on the side. So if you want to try something that's processed, of course, it's packaged, but they're really good if you eat that type of thing. But yeah, the daring chicken. But guys, here you have it, our green bean casserole. It's a great dish to put on the table for Thanksgiving
Yes, it
or
is.
Christmas, whatever you choose, or just to have any time. But if you try my recipe and you like it, you know what to do.
Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up.
And of course,
Share, you
the
guys.
video.
Yes.
And if you haven't already subscribed to Cassandra's Kitchen,
Subscribe.
What are you waiting for?
Yes.
And until next time, from our kitchen to yours, we love you guys. Be blessed.
Peace.
Bye-bye now.
All right.